think we have no problems today. Good.
Okay. Let's see if I can share this on my stuff.
Stop this and maybe start it again because I don't see it on Facebook.
Okay.
So, hold on one sec. People have been coming here so long, they know that it's like, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Let's see. I don't know why it didn't go. That was a first. Stop live stream.
Oh.
So it should be a live stream. So why is it not live?
Custom live streaming service.
Well, it looks like it's running, but I can't find it on Facebook.
Oh, it's on YouTube, that's for sure.
It is? Good.
I just saw it there.
Weird. This has never happened on I don't know what to do with that.
Maybe Facebook's mad that I'm in Japan.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think so, but let me think about this for a second. Sorry, YouTube people.
No.
I will do something on YouTube, though, while we're waiting. And maybe I'll play your cut while I'm looking to do this stuff, but let's see.
Little waiting room music. Never hurt anybody.
I know. Where are you? Here we are. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, but it's the end. I'm going to start it again.
Okay.
I love it. I want to see it.
Oh, that's funny. We got it now.
Yeah.
It does loop well. That's nice. I've never really done that before.
Oh, really?
Never played it back to back before. Yeah. Yeah, this was a fun one. There's Yeah. Yeah, I think the idea with the starting and ending with the drum break was to make it work for DJs.
Oh, I like it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that was
and
a really fun recording.
should have they should have their names in English too.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is my friend Nick Marshall,
Hello, hello. Hi, everyone.
and yeah. So I'm just arranging. You know, people who are watching. You know me. You know me. Let's see. Let me just make sure I have everything open. Where's my other window? I see this window. I see this window. Where is it, Nick? Oh, I bet I know what happened.
Oh, what are we hunting for now? Hunting for a...
Yeah, if I don't exit the full screen, I don't see um, the whole Megillah. Anyway,
I see.
you got it. So hold on. I'll be with you in a sec.
All right. No rush, no rush.
Okay, here we are. So we are. Hold on. I'll be with you. Volume down.
Oh,
And you know, when I was doing this like 6 days a week, no problem.
that's funny.
It was easy.
Like, just click the same things every time.
Yeah, I was like, you know, everything just was no big deal. But now that I do it like once a week, my brain forgets.
How long were you doing it 6 days a week for? That sounds
9 months.
Jesus.
Yeah, when the pandemic started,
Mm.
I just kind of freaked out a little. I was like, what what am I going to do now? You
Yeah,
know?
I need to talk to people.
Yeah, so actually I just got on Facebook and I was talking with people and one of my friends from the Netherlands came
Mm,
on and I said, "Hey, you want to just come on?" And then it lasted about 2 hours and I just started doing it. It's
nice.
great. Yeah.
That's
So
good.
you're number 630.
What an honor. What a good number.
It's a good number, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
630.
630. That's wild. Yeah, I was glancing through some of the names in the archive.
Yeah.
I didn't know a lot of them, but is Mitch, you had Mitch Foreman, is that the tenor sax and flute player?
No, it's the
Okay.
piano player.
Okay, not
He
the guy I'm thinking
he's a outrageously great
of. Okay.
player. Yeah, he's really great. Various styles. He lives in LA. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really an interesting trip, you know, all over the world and some famous people, mostly non-famous people or people, you know, some people who are a lot of people who are successful at doing their career.
Hmm.
You know, some
Yeah.
really not famous.
Yeah, that is really
And
how it goes, right? Like there's for every name brand musician, there's 100 working musicians who have just as much or more stories to tell, but maybe not just it's just a name thing, right? It's a different
absolutely. Yeah,
investment into your energy.
it's a really interesting business that we're in, you know,
Hmm.
um, for that and many reasons. But yeah, it's you know, over the years you can't help but like look at what you're doing, and I guess if you're really accomplishing what you want,
Hmm.
let's say you know, for you, I'm assuming you work a lot in Japan and uh, three. Okay.
Nice.
So, you know, or if you're living in Europe, you're doing a lot of festivals, or, you know,
Yeah.
if you're really doing a lot, then you're probably not as likely to wonder about what am I doing, or, uh, you know, do I have to be famous, or,
Yeah,
you know,
it is always in those dry spells when you're like, okay, what am I trying to do? Because yeah, when you're busy just doing stuff, there's no time to contemplate that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're having fun, you know.
Yeah. I will say moving here, I've had a lot too much time to contemplate what am I doing?
You have or you have not?
I have, because it's just a very, I don't know. I think part of it's the language, part of it's moving to a new country. It's you just don't you can't establish yourself and have a full-time job in a new country right away, I think. Because when I arrived here, I had maybe 4 or 5 musicians I knew. And I went really hard and tried to meet as many musicians as I could, as fast as I could, but um, it's gradually building up to a full-time thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for a while there, I was just a full-time practicer, just
Okay,
trying to.
so that's yeah, so that's interesting. I guess mostly I've been going to Japan since 1980.
Mhm.
And so, but mostly I talk to singers,
Okay.
you know, I mean, discuss job kind of situations. So
Mhm.
my impression is always that there's so many gigs around that you can just
Yeah,
do a million gigs.
there are gigs. That's one of the dangerous things here is there's so many venues. So there's, for example, I have a list on my phone of in just in Kansai, which is like Kobe, Osaka, Kyoto, Nara, that general area.
Yeah,
It's about 12 million people,
yeah,
and there's well over 100 venues.
yeah,
But a lot of them are like one 90-year-old guy and 10 seats, and on a good day there's 4 people there. So there's a very, very easy path to playing every day,
yeah,
but there's a very difficult path to actually making a living.
right.
And it's the same probably 2,000 people going to those 100 venues. So
That's
it's
kind of mind blowing. Yeah,
yeah, it's a really tough math to because at first I think when I came here, and some months I still do it, where I'm just like, look, I gotta play. I don't care that nobody's gonna show up. But especially as a trombonist, you end up, and it's the same as a vocalist, right? If you're the vocalist, you're the leader usually on the project,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it's the same for the trombone. The trombone, I always say to people, it's right around the sixth or the seventh instrument in the order, right? Because you're
yeah,
gonna have a melody first, and if you're gonna get a melody, you're gonna get a vocal, or you're gonna get a high horn, and then you need chords, and even better if you can do them both. So you're gonna get a guitar or a piano, and if you got 2 instruments, it's melody and chords. Then you need bass probably. Then we've probably got rhythm somewhere in here, and so if it's a miracle, I might be the fifth guy. I might be the fifth. So unless I'm the leader,
yeah,
then I don't get calls. So a lot of the time I'm playing a fair bit, but they're all my gigs, so it's all my responsibility to get the people out to the gig, and it's my responsibility to make sure the band gets paid. So it becomes this weird, like, I don't
would you guess that it's what you're talking about is worse in Japan than in other countries?
it is in the niche that I'm in. It is worse than in what my experience was back in Toronto.
Yeah,
In Toronto, it's also the type of gigs I'm doing here, right? Because those are the gigs you can just decide to have, right?
yeah,
In Toronto, you could live that life as well if you really wanted to, and it would be the same situation. If I was just contacting all these venues that have live music every day but don't pay a guarantee,
right.
which exist in any city,
Yeah,
and right there's probably more of them, and there's less options that aren't that here.
yeah,
Um, but when those are the venues and those are the situations you're playing in, then that's how it's going to end up being.
yeah. Well, first of all, I want to say that being a vocalist,
Mhm.
I, I'm exactly what you just described for the trombone. Trombone. I always joke. My dad was a sax player, and if he had told me that I was going to be responsible for getting gigs, all the
Yeah.
gigs. I don't know what I would have thought. Maybe I would have kept going. I don't know. But it's very rare that I get called to do a gig. Very rare.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
me. And you said, create what you want. That's what I'm always doing. It's like,
Hmm.
I think, like that kind of music, I love singing with that kind of genre. So I can create that, or I can create a band that plays
Yeah.
that and straight ahead, So, but it's really up to me. What do
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
want? Well, I have to
Exactly.
get the gig. I have to be responsible for the money. It's the band leader thing,
Yeah.
rehearsal.
So
Is
it's
there a rehearsal? Whatever. And the
yeah.
recording, that's a whole other thing. And
Yeah, the
yeah,
recording, man. I've been trying to I keep saying, "Oh, next this year I'll make the album," since I got here basically.
yeah,
But and but I love what you say about like it's like what you want to do because that's one thing I really noticed was I it's re when I moved here, it's like I'd never felt less like a professional musician, but I'd never felt more in control of what I did professionally.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because
Yeah.
it's like if I'm the leader on 80% of my gigs, I'm way less nervous to take a risk and be like, screw it, I'll do all Wayne Shorter songs this
Yeah.
gig, or screw it, I'll do my original, like, because it's my gig. I booked it. I'm gonna lose money on the gig whether I play Take Five and Blue Bossa and play if I whether I play the hits or whether I play my tunes and play something that resonates with me. Nothing's gonna change about the financial
Yeah.
situation of the gig.
Yeah.
And and there's no bar owner that's going to breathe down my neck about what I play
Yeah.
if they're not offering me anything in return, right?
Right.
But if I'm being hired to entertain your pre-existing audience, then sure, then you can have some input on what music I present as a band leader.
Right.
So in Toronto, it was a lot of that where I
Right.
wasn't promoting anything
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Toronto.
Yeah.
I
Interesting.
never promoted my gigs back home, but
Yeah.
I also had no control over what I was doing.
Yeah. Well, in the days that I came up too, I mean, there was a lot more of audiences that naturally came to the clubs,
Yeah.
and the clubs promoted. And
Hmm.
some of that was, from record label money or some of that, but not all of it. I mean, somebody like me could be promoted and come to the club and not worry about gathering the audience,
Yeah. And
which is
how was it promoted back in that time? Was it like flyers on the street? What was
um good question. I think there was like, I mean, I'm kind of thinking of this one period where there was actually a jazz magazine in LA,
oh, okay.
like a newspaper that came out
Yeah.
maybe
Okay.
every week or something. And so it was definitely in there. I mean, to see who was at a club, you looked at the ad,
Oh,
you
nice.
know.
Yeah, we have
Um,
something like that in Kansai called Way Out West.
oh,
If you've ever seen that, it's the visually it's really great. It's this one artist Fujioka-san
yeah.
who he puts one out. He also does a lot of the album covers for Cellar Live.
Oh, so
But
does he promotes gigs or something?
I don't know if he promotes it or if he's just the artist. I don't know the entire story about his connection with it, but I know he does the cover every month.
Oh,
But it's like that where it's like it's got this month's
yeah.
jazz listings in not all the venues, but in a big chunk. So it'll have what's happening at Sub, it'll have what's happening at Proust where you saw me, it'll have various other ones. So every day on the calendar, which here I think I've got a copy of it, right? Oh, nice, I do. For example, here's last year September's
Oh, wow, nice,
Way
beautiful,
Out West,
nice.
and right there's some label stuff like some person, quick little interview, their favorite album,
Right, right.
something like that, and then in the middle is this month's.
That's good to know, actually. I never knew that.
Mhm.
I could utilize that myself when I come back.
It is really good. The thing about it is it's pretty limited in scope because it's just the name of the band leader and the venue.
Oh, yeah.
So, for example, I do originals sometimes, I do standards sometimes,
Yeah.
but on here it'll just say where I'm playing and Nick Marshall.
Right. But at least it is a jazz magazine, right?
Yeah, and this is really a blessing to have. It's really helpful.
Yeah.
It looks awesome. Like here's November,
Oh,
or I mean
beautiful.
February.
Yeah.
Here's another year's February.
Wow.
Right, the art
Beautiful.
is really cool.
Very nice.
Here's I think this is Joe Lovano. Right?
Yeah, the hair looks like Joe.
Yeah, so it's cool to have, and it's like one of those take free magazines. But
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
how effective it is.
And I guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
But and ads are like that anyway. How? Yeah, I mean, I know that there's a whole business, marketing tools and advertisers.
Yeah, there are
And,
people who are better equipped to
yeah, but
quantify that.
I just kind of do whatever comes in front of me.
Hmm.
If something appears in front of me and says, "Oh, you should probably do this." Okay, yeah, if it's not too
Yeah,
expensive, and
I like that.
yeah,
That's kind of
I
how
know,
I've gotten where I'm at. Just
yeah,
always, what's the next obvious choice?
yeah,
Don't
exactly.
overthink it.
So,
Mm.
you're you're well, it's great to see you in Japan. First of all, I'll just tell people. So when I was in Osaka in May, um, my girlfriend, who is a really good singer, she kind of manages the kitchen in this jazz club called Proust, and so she invited us in, um, and Nick was leading the band. It was a really good band. I was in love with the piano player.
Oh yeah, I think it was Maki Chieko, right?
Yes,
Was it her?
shit, she was great, amazing,
Yeah,
and the
she's
bass
not.
player was a
Yeah,
really
Otsuka Megumi.
yeah,
Yeah, that's one thing. There's way more women like as professional instrumentalists here, I think,
yeah,
than back in Toronto.
yeah,
In the jazz, like as in terms of like straight ahead jazz players,
yeah.
there it's it's not 50%, but it's
It's a
more.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they blew my socks off.
Mhm.
And yeah, and anyway, it was a really great group, beautiful club, um, really nice size, not too small and not too big, just really nice. It was really a nice environment, and the band was smoking. And yeah, I was intrigued. I thought, oh, I should interview Nick.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
we had just seen is it Yoku? You uh what's her name?
from Proust,
Yeah.
Kyoko,
Oh, really? With a K?
Kawamura-san, right?
Kawa. Oh, yeah. What is her other name?
Kyoko, I think.
Kyoko. Okay. I was saying it was Yuko or something. Okay. Uh, you probably know more than I do because you're around her all the time. I know her well, but I always forget
Yes,
names when I'm away from Japan.
yes, Kawamura
Anyway,
Kyoko.
I had seen her, I
Mhm.
think the night before, with a really great guitar player.
Oh, cool. Where was she at?
She was at a tiny place. Wait, I think I have the card here. Sub.
Oh, it's Sub.
Yeah.
Oh, Sub's the best, man. That's yeah, Sub blows my mind. That's like a jazz church. Do you know the story behind that place?
I only know that it's been there for a long time.
Yeah,
So
about 50 years.
for those of you listening,
Mhm.
it's a really interesting location. It's
Yeah.
so in Japan, there's the subways, and then there's these long shopping malls, basically underground,
Mhm.
and sub, like you walk up a few little stairs, and then there's sub. It's a tiny little place with
Yeah,
a little bar,
it's
and
just on a landing on the exit of a subway station, right?
yeah, and maybe holds at the most 20 people, right?
Oh, it would be packed at 20 people.
Yeah, so
And
maybe
I don't
less.
think they could serve 20 people because they don't have any staff, right? The guy running
Yeah,
the bar is the owner slash tenor sax player.
yeah,
So 20 people is like there'd be no time to play. I've seen it with 20 people though before. It's
It's tiny.
yeah, it's real tiny, right? It's
Yeah.
so that place, it's
Oh,
been
wait,
around.
wait a minute. Hold
Oh,
on. Wait.
oh,
That is not the place that I saw her.
oh no.
I saw Suga. Oh, gosh, my
Suga
names. Piano player, really, really great piano player.
uh
Su-
looks a lot younger than he is. Sugiyama.
yeah, yeah, Sugiyama.
Ah, Sugiyama. I play with him a lot. I love him.
He's a great player.
Yeah, whenever I do my
Anyway,
originals, he's the guy I call first.
oh yeah, I would imagine so. So I saw him at Sub, but she was at. It was not Sub, but it
Ah,
was. And I'm just trying to put it. Where was that? It was also in a place like that, but it was a
hmm.
man and wife
Oh, was
owned.
it Pile Driver?
Yes,
Okay, okay. That's cute. I like that place a lot. That's one of those.
that's great.
Yeah. And
And
that
that's small too.
it's hard to book there actually because they only do gigs on holidays or Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh,
And basically when you play there, they'll almost always ask you to play again if they don't hate you.
yeah,
And everybody wants to play there again because it's a great vibe.
yeah, yeah.
So it ends up just in gradually the what's the word I'm looking recursion time
Yeah, gets
increases.
longer.
So
Yeah.
it's like you play there and they're like, okay, let's book the next one, and it's in 6 months. And then the next time you play, it's like, let's book the next one, and it's in 7 months.
Well, hold on. I was just going to do something. Hold on. Hold on. Um,
I got
um,
my first gig there in a pretty funny way. I
you did?
yeah, I was just looking for a place to grab a coffee. I had a friend who was in town from Philadelphia,
Yeah,
and he was playing at Billboard, so he was staying near there.
yeah.
And we had like an hour to kill. We could only meet up for an hour to get a coffee before he had to go to sound check. So we were like, okay, desperately searching, like listening jazz bar near here, something. We wanted to listen to some music and have a chat. And we found that place. I'd never been there, but I'd heard the name. And then somehow they were like overhearing our conversation or something, and it came out that were musicians. And I'm like, okay, so he doesn't live here, but I live here. And they're like, oh, you're a musician, are you? Oh, are you free like next month on the 17th? We just had somebody cancel. So they just like hired
That's
me
cool.
on spec to
I
play there.
adored the owners. Yeah,
Yeah.
so guys, they're probably a little older than me. Him and his wife. And
Yeah.
first he wasn't smiling a lot when I was sitting at the bar. But then we started talking, and his wife, and he showed me pictures of them when they were like in their 20s.
Really?
They were fucking gorgeous.
Oh,
Her, she
yeah, yeah, I
was
can imagine that.
gorgeous, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were so much fun to talk to. They were so experienced in music, and I mean,
Hmm.
really, really experienced. And the place was really nice. And as I said, the guitar player, as good as any guitar player here, he was he was really a great guitar player. And Kyoko sounded wonderful. And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so I sat in and it was fun. But that was I liked that place a lot, Pile Driver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a nice spot.
So yeah, so over the years, because I've been going to Japan since '80. So
Mm.
in the beginning,
Hmm.
um, I over the years I really saw jazz change.
Really?
I was coming back every year,
Okay.
and so it was interesting.
So
At first,
what has changed? Yeah.
yeah, well, at first the musicians were very like they were copying straight ahead people, right? And the drummers were they were the worst. They would play something good for 4 bars, and then they would totally change to
Just
something
abandon
else
it. Oh, cool.
like every 4 bars. Oh my God, it was horrible. The bass players were the best, and the piano players were good, but they were always copying. you know. And so
Mm.
then I started seeing young players start playing, and they were tentative, but they were freer, you know. And
Mm.
then, like after I don't know, 10 years or so, probably in the '90s, I started really noticing that people were really getting good, you know, and but I don't know why, but it's kind of exciting for me to come and see you there and see that music, that style, fresh, young, you know, younger people playing their asses off and rising to the occasion. And I don't know how many people create that style, like the what we just heard, but you
Oh
do,
yeah.
so it's great.
Yeah, the more fusion type stuff, there's a scene for it, but I don't know if there's a lot of people doing it, especially in Osaka. In Kansai, it's a little different than in Tokyo
Yeah,
because in terms of people doing original music, in terms of people doing creative, I hate that term creative music. It's like what isn't?
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
in terms of yeah, people pushing original music, recording stuff, trying to be artists instead of working musicians.
yeah,
There's way more of that in Tokyo.
yeah,
So
yeah,
there's way less opportunities to do something like we heard at the top of this show
yeah,
in Osaka, I think.
yeah,
But
yeah,
obviously there's 12 million people in Kansai, so people need music, so there's musicians and there's concerts,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So, and you're from Toronto originally?
Yeah.
Yeah, and uh, obviously you don't just pick up trombone when you're 20. You,
Mm, not
you have to
quite.
you have to start playing. It's a hard instrument.
Yeah, it's not fun for a long time. I remember I re- there are a couple episodes where I was like, what is this instrument? One was I had just bought a new trombone, and I was talking to my mom like, oh, I think I was in high school. I was talking to her. I was like, man, my first trombone I'm used to, but this new trombone, I'm still like figuring out how to play it. And then one day I was practicing and I was feeling pretty good about my practice session. And my mom walks in and she's like, "Oh, is that the trombone you're still getting used to?" And I was like, "No, no, that's my usual one." And then another time I was like warming up in like third year of music university.
Yeah.
Third year university, I'm just warming up before a big band rehearsal or something. And I realized to myself, I was like, you know, 95% of the time when I pick this thing up, just from the first note, it sounds like somebody who has practiced this instrument, who like knows how to wield the thing. It doesn't sound like amazing or anything, but it sounds like a musician is holding it. And I was like, okay, so I've been playing for 10 years and I just am having this where it almost every time sounds like I'm not grabbing it for the first time. Yeah. It's just
Well, I
the barrier to
support
entry is quite high.
I support you. I know. I think trombone is, I don't know, one of the more difficult instruments there is. I remember when I first understood that this note and this note are next to each other,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, "What? Are
I don't know.
you
Once you get
serious?"
past that though, it's not that bad, right? There's
Yeah,
there's just this the first jump is a lot on the
yeah,
trombone.
yeah,
But it's very human sized, it's very human shaped,
yeah.
right? So that's once you get past the technicality of it, it's very vocal.
I have a few good friends who are outstanding. One guy is Bob McChesney, who I guess
The best.
developed some
Yeah,
tonguing.
yeah, he's got this doodle tonguing thing that he does that's he's kind of pushed further than most
Most,
anyone
yeah,
has.
yeah, and he's so musical. His taste is really good.
I love
Then
him.
two guys, Joey Seller. I don't know if you know him.
Seller. I
He's
feel like I've heard that name, but I don't think I.
he's a really great player, and he's an educator at one of the
Okay.
universities here. And Ryan Dragon, whose father actually also was a trombone player. Anyway, Ryan and Joe. Ryan was originally. I'll tell you this quick story.
Hmm.
Ryan was originally Joey's student, and
Okay.
I think Ryan's father and Joey were friends. Anyway, so they have. They probably still do it, but they have this like one thing they do is a duo. You know, two trombones,
Two trombones. Oh,
and it's really weird. They're really out, you know, and like they'll do some big, huge classical piece, or they'll improvise, or they'll do some kind of incredible bebop thing. And one time I booked them at this little club that I was booking downtown. And
hmm.
I remember Joey said, "Are you sure you want to book this?" And I said, "Yeah, I want to book this. I want to support it." So they came. There was very few people in the audience, and there was a couple in the audience, and the guy wanted to introduce jazz to his girlfriend,
Oh,
which
bad start.
I know. I came over and I said, this is not typical jazz,
This is
so
not
I don't know if you
beginner
really
like
want to stay.
this is like
Anyway,
trombone
Ryan,
fans jazz.
yeah, Ryan comes out in a wrestling mask and a, what do you call it? The little underwear. What I forget what,
Oh, got like a not a leotard. What?
just like a wrestling
A
thing.
singlet. A singlet.
Yeah. Anyway, he comes out in that.
Oh God.
And then they're doing things. They're doing things with balloons. And oh my God,
Sick.
man. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
really
awesome.
funny. But I mean, they're both incredibly amazing players too.
That's
I
fun.
just think if you're an amazing player on the trombone, you're a good
Mhm.
musician.
The trombone is I one thing I wish I'd done was I was always kind of I was learning music on the trombone. I didn't
Yeah,
play like a piano, a chordal instrument or anything first.
yeah,
I started that kind of late in high school, and trombone's a really fun instrument to play,
yeah.
but I don't think it's a particularly effective instrument to learn music on.
I get it.
So that's one thing is I wish when I'd started just goofing around by myself on piano
Yeah,
or something, I'd been like, okay, I should probably take this part of it seriously.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it's fun though. It's a good instrument.
Hey, let's listen to something.
Okay, sure.
So I'm going back to your email
Okay, what
and
send
let's
you
see.
again?
There's some Canada stuff, or the straight ahead band,
Um,
or a
sure.
duo. What do you think?
Let's do the duo one. You mentioned Sugiyama-san. That's me and Sugiyama-san
Oh,
duo.
cool. All right.
Um, let me see if I can get you some track times.
So
Nicole's alleg-
Oh,
that's just a. I refuse to
yeah,
pay again for lack of ads.
as you should.
Okay. Did you want to do something, or
Yeah, I'm trying to throw this up as fast as I can and figure out what track time.
oh, well,
Because it,
this track time is. It's 48 minutes. So
yeah, it's the live stream.
should I just jump around? Well, I'll jump first of all. I'll jump to where. Should I start on the beginning?
Yeah, I think we start about 10 minutes in.
Yeah, I got the beginning.
Okay. Well, that's fine there. Yeah, just play that first one then.
Okay, good. Whoops. Any second. Kobe, my second home.
Yeah, this was the first time to play a lot of these originals duo, so
Oh, cool.
I almost all of this music is written for quintet, so
Oh,
I was really happy with the Yamasan being able to cover all that ground.
wow. Sounds really good. Yeah.
You ever been to this Hyakuban Hall before?
I'm not sure. I was looking at that.
It's really nice. The owner's a great piano player, and he leads a big band as well.
Oh,
Shota Lee.
huh. And it's in Kobe.
Yeah, right in Sannomiya, right in downtown.
Huh.
Oh, my little brother's watching on YouTube.
Oh.
Hey, Jack. He was. He left a comment.
Tesla stock is crashing.
Whoa.
The headlines say
Whoa,
Elon.
yeah. That's good. Tesla stock is crashing. I like
That's
it.
awesome. How did they know the bridge was coming up?
I don't know.
How'd they time that? It was like right at the end of the band. Well done. It doesn't really come across duo, but my goal was what would Kenny Wheeler write if he was a member of Tribe Called Quest?
Excellent. That's very nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's really nice song. I
Thank you.
like I like Sugiyama, right?
Yeah, Sugiyama Satoshi.
Yama Satoshi, yeah.
Yeah, people really don't write the names in English,
I know.
which is good for me because it really makes my name stick out in a flyer.
Yeah, that's funny.
There's like a list, like if there's this month's musicians, the board,
Yeah.
it's like at a glance, my name really sticks out on those.
You know, um, there's a really nice room that so I used to work with Phil Strange a
Oh yeah.
lot. Yeah. So we toured for like 20 years together and
Oh really?
recorded and stuff. But there was a really nice room that I think is still there. It's it's up the hill in Kobe, like where that old jazz club is.
Oh, could be Sone?
Yeah. So Sone and up that hill,
Mm,
a little more to like if you were looking at Sone, it would be
okay.
like a little more to the right. And I can't
Is it
remember the name of it, but it
is it
was
in the basement?
no.
Okay.
It's beautiful. It's almost like an art gallery.
Oh, it's not the place I'm thinking of at all.
Beautiful piano and I mean, I think it's still there because somebody was talking about it.
Huh.
So anyway, that was a really beautiful
Cool.
room. Yeah, Sone. I've worked at Sone in the past, and
Nice.
yeah, yeah, that was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that was from so Sugi Lee Shota, he owns that venue and he has this series on Wednesday afternoons. It's like the Wednesday lunch concerts.
Yeah,
Because that whole area is surrounded by office buildings, so people show up and like bring their lunch. And it's no cover charge and it's all fundraising for like guide dogs or something. So
oh, that's
yeah,
very
yeah.
nice. Yeah.
We call it the dog concert.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to maybe next time I come, we can do a gig or two together.
Yeah,
Be
love to.
really fun. Yeah. I really love Satoshi. I mean, that's the kind of piano player I really like. There's another guy who I worked with in Osaka.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I have to go look at my notes, but
It's so many
very good.
names to learn, right? There's
Another
so many
guy,
musicians.
yeah, and he's another pianist who lived in New York for a while,
Okay.
um, and he's really good too. I like the kind of piano
Mhm.
players who are they don't just play on one, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially in a duo. I really enjoy the freedom. I
Hmm.
have this guy here, Gary Fukushima, who he's unusual. He's one of my favorite piano players, and we've had a few projects together. But like when we play together, he knows that he can trust me, and so
Yeah.
he doesn't have to play on one. And I love it because it's just so much fun. But again, like we were talking about before, you don't play that kind of music everywhere. But when you want to be artistic, yeah,
Hmm.
you can.
Yeah, sometimes you're the background music at a whatever,
Yeah,
right? And you really need to play the one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't that sound like a song title? You really need to play the one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have a friend who would actually use that title. He's a crazy percussionist. Comes up with a lot of crazy
You
names
really
for
need to play the one. It sounds like a funk song. It reminds me of that famous Bootsy Collins video. He's
Right.
like, one, do whatever you want, do whatever you want. Bum, 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 one.
Ah, yeah, that's pretty funny. So, did you just come from Toronto to Japan, or did you go somewhere else?
No, I came right from Toronto to Japan. I so what had happened was I was took a really, really long time to finish my undergrad.
Yeah.
It should have taken it. My 4-year undergrad took me 7 degrees, as musicians are wont to do. Um, and so I finished my undergrad into the pandemic. So
Okay.
my at the time I'd been dating my now wife, who is from Japan. We met in Toronto, and the plan was to finish university, and then I would go move to Japan on a working holiday visa, and we would figure out which country we wanted to live in. We'd live together for a year in Japan and be like, and check it out, see how it was, and then decide whether we wanted to live in Japan or in Toronto. But what ended up happening was Corona happened, so Japan was very, very much closed.
Yeah.
And so I started my career in Toronto and had a couple of years. Well, 1 year was just lockdown, and then maybe I had a year or so of just starting to open up and starting to be a professional musician out in the wild, out of the nest
Yeah.
in Toronto. And then me and my wife, we decided to just get married because then we could be in the same country.
Yeah.
And so that was its whole own process, a lot of paperwork, a lot of hoops.
Yeah.
But that created a situation where I could just be in Japan permanently, which is actually great as a musician because there's all these restrictions on work on a working holiday visa.
Yeah.
But on the spouse visa, I can do whatever I want musically, which helps. And so I came straight to Kobe in 2022.
Oh, cool. I love Kobe. I've spent a lot of time in Kobe because my first gigs were at the Playboy clubs in
Oh,
Tokyo and Osaka. And then,
I wonder if those are still here. I don't think there's
I
one
don't think so.
in Osaka, at least.
No, I don't think so. And so let's see. Let's see. There was Kakimoto-san was the drummer, and come on, I can remember my friends. Sho Iwata, he's the bass
Oh, that
player.
name sounds really familiar.
He's a really good bass player. He plays Brazilian a lot, and he plays everything. And then the pianist, can't remember his name. You probably know him too. He's a really good pianist, and really he's one of those pianists who really supports like the singer, like very knowledgeably.
Hmm.
I'll have to go look it up, but anyway, so they were my band in Osaka, and I just remained friends with them, and then there was a few years I didn't go back, and then I went back with an American piano player to Fukuyama, and
Hmm.
or Fukuyoshi. Anyway, one of those Fuko places,
Oh,
and I met the
Fukuyama's a place.
yeah, I met the owner of gosh, my brain is not working today. The music school in Kobe.
Koyo?
Yeah, Koyo. And so the owner, Mr. Oh God, my word. Sorry, I apologize. I'm not going to apologize again. Sugauchi. Anyway, I met him at the gig that I
Hmm.
had with this piano player, and Phil Strange was working for him, and
Oh,
so
okay.
he decided to put Phil and I together, and he started like 3 times a year. We were touring Japan as a
Mhm.
duo mostly, and
Have you
so
had Philip? Have you had him on this before?
no, I have
Selfishly, I want you to have him on here because I've only met him like once in passing, and I really want to learn more about the guy. So,
he's an interesting guy. He's such a great player.
yeah.
He's kind of like a Keith Jarrett. I mean, he's been fortunate to live in Japan and do what he wants
Mhm.
musically, so and to work a lot for it, and he produces singers, and he's a very, very good musician. He's got
Yeah.
a very funny sense of humor.
Yeah, I think we've never talked. We've only like I think once at a gig shook hands.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
were both there to see maybe it was Miki Yamanaka or something,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
but I don't remember the exact context. But other than that, I've always seen his name around.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Yeah, so I forget why
that's
I
cool.
started down that road, but I think, oh, Kobe. I was just
Mm-hmm.
saying, Kobe, I've spent a lot of time in Kobe and I just love Kobe. Kobe is just a beautiful, beautiful town.
Yeah, it is. It's easy to live in Kobe, I think.
Yeah,
It's a nice balance of it's not too crazy, it's not
yeah,
too expensive, but it's got all the stuff that a big city you would want to have.
yeah. And you're on the train line and, I mean,
Yeah.
you can go anywhere. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, Kobe and Osaka, I really love. And I have a friend, I always start off my tour in here, the Hiroshima area. My
Okay.
friend lives down there and I mean, like, he's amazing. He's a bass player. He booked this time 9 gigs in 6 days
Jesus.
and a workshop.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's how he is. And he puts me
Yeah.
up, he cooks for me, he cleans my
Oh,
clothes. I mean, he's kind of a cool guy. He comes every year here to for the NAMM show. Like
nice.
he's been doing that for 20 years. He's a character.
That's cool.
But
That's cool.
yeah, so anyway, that would be funny to have him on. But sorry, just laughing about that. That would be kind of fun. But so Kobe, yeah, it's really beautiful, and I've seen a lot of Japan, but
You might have seen more than you've almost definitely seen more of it than me. I haven't had that much chance to
yeah,
get around Japan yet.
yeah,
I've
probably because
yeah.
I was on tour a lot.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
my wife's from Sapporo, so I've been there a bunch,
oh, beautiful.
and I've been to Tokyo a handful of times.
Yeah,
But other than that, it's really just I've been in Kansai
yeah.
the last few years.
Tokyo is not my favorite place. I mean, there's good things about it, of course,
Hmm.
but it's too maniacal.
It's just everything. There's just everything
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
I had a friend who was asking me like, "Oh, what should I do in Tokyo? What should I do in Osaka?" And I was like, "Okay, so Tokyo has infinite amounts of everything. Whatever you want, you can find it. So just like think of the subculture you want to experience, think of whatever. You will never ever run out, and don't expect to make a dent on your like weekend trip to Tokyo. And then Osaka has one half of infinite things to do. Oh,
That's funny. So,
it,
okay, so now I know why you came, and how about was jazz always something that you wanted to do?
like yes and no. So even in Toronto, I was not really a jazz musician per se. I was playing a little bit of standards. I could do it, and even the school I went to, Humber College, it's structured a lot like Berkeley, where it's if you want to play jazz, you can,
Yeah,
but you don't have to. I went to school with a lot of people who are now film composers, are now pop artists,
yeah,
are now doing whatever, touring with country bands,
yeah,
playing whatever type of music they want. There was a lot of recording. Even so, the big third year project was here's you get the auditorium, make your band, make your flyer, you have a 50-minute set. We don't care what you play, right? It was just to do a gig.
yeah.
And the fourth year project is you get 3 sessions in the studio. We
Uh-huh.
don't care what you do.
Yeah,
Do make an EP,
yeah,
record 15 minutes of music.
yeah.
So in that context, I was in high school. I was really, really into jazz. I was like, I'm going to be a jazz musician. And then as I went through university, I was like, I don't really see like a super appealing life in Canada as a jazz specialized trombone player. So I spent a lot of time trying to diversify my skills. I was recording a lot. But then when I came to Japan, I think I wonder why this happened still. And it's early, so it's not like this is like a set in stone, this is what my life is now. But right now I'm playing 90% combo jazz. I'm leading a quintet or I'm playing as a sideman in like a trio or like background music jazz, or I'm playing in a big band. And 90% of what I'm doing is American songbook, like standards or bebop era or originals. Um, I'm not sure why that happened. One theory I have is that it's one of the easier types of music to do without language,
Yeah.
right? You can just be like, I know the song, you know the song. Let's count the song in, let's play the gig,
Yeah.
right? Whereas you can't really do that if it's like somebody's originals, right? You get into the studio with somebody and they're making their pop song. There's a lot of like subjective language flying around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, can you play those shots like a little more like the ocean? Can you play them a little more fluffy, right? I don't know how to express that thought in Japanese, even right now. So I think that's part of it. But yeah, to make a long answer short, no, I didn't really think I'd be just a jazz musician, or
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd specialize like I have.
Yeah. 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 I remember when I first started becoming aware of um, unusual um instruments being involved in jazz, like cello, for instance,
Mhm.
uh, like there's a place here, the Blue Whale, which went away and is coming back.
Oh,
But
I had heard it coming back. I heard. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The owner used to be my student.
Oh.
He's a great guy, June. But anyway, yeah. So, well, I mean, we used to hang out a lot at the Blue Whale mostly, but so then you would see string players start playing with
Hmm.
high level, uh, kind of not exactly fusion, but leaning towards fusion. It wasn't straight ahead.
Yeah.
You and yeah, it was good. It was probably like 15 years ago or something, and yeah, it was really great. And trombone, but the other way around, trombone on pop music, or not jazz. I mean, you heard people like, did Blood, Sweat, and Tears have trombone?
I think there were times when they had trombone.
Yeah. Now that
I
was
don't think they
kind of
always had
jazz.
trombone, but yeah.
Yeah. So, um, but I love the mixing of it.
Hmm.
It's just it's great to mix and to bring in things. Last night, was it last night? Yeah, last night I went and heard there's a there's a growing avant-garde genre, a community here, and
Oh.
I mean they've always been here, but I think it's expanding as well. So there's a company called Open Gate Theater, and they have maybe two concerts a month, and the evening is split between two groups, and yeah, they call it creative music. They don't really
Hmm.
call it avant-garde, which is, I don't know. Hi,
Yeah.
Roland. Yeah, I'm not sure why they don't really call it avant-garde anymore, but they call it creative music. There's a big festival here that happens every year called the Angel City Jazz Festival, and
Ooh.
so they have a bunch of concerts that happen, within 4 days.
Yeah, I was really a lot more into that back in Toronto.
Oh,
That
really?
was there's a famous venue called the Transac, which
Yeah.
is like stepping into somebody's living room. It's got three rooms, and it's great home for free music and avant-garde stuff. And in high school, that was one of the only places I could go because it was always pay what you can and it wasn't 19 plus.
Yeah.
So I was going to a lot of shows there, learning how to how to play music, like what
That's cool.
music was.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a really awkwardly not smooth transition. My first in high school, my first live shows were like hardcore punk shows.
Yeah.
And then I was starting to get more serious about the trombone. So I was like, oh, I should go to like a jazz club. But I didn't have enough money to like be in jazz clubs. But I did have enough money to be at pay what you can free jazz shows. So I started going to those like once a week, twice a week when I was like 16 and 17. And yeah,
That is kind of awkward.
There's
Awkward transition. That's
there's
funny.
there's something of a thread, I guess, from
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess it's
It's kind of free, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
that's that's funny.
but it was that was fun though. That was I would see this great trumpet player, Lena Alamano. She's she's just wonderful composer. She's like half in Toronto, half in Berlin.
Oh, huh.
I would see her band all the time, like whenever they played. And then there was another band that I would see as much as possible called Peripheral Vision, which is kind of like a fusion band with like free jazz instincts.
Yeah,
It's if you know, do you know Knee Body?
yeah,
So it's like it's
yeah.
I would say it's like acoustic Knee Body. It's Knee
Okay.
Body with an upright bass
I
and
love
with a
that.
drummer who's like more of a free jazz guy.
Wow, I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, they're a very cool band. I that so those were bands that I was seeing like every month, as much as possible, and just all adjacent things to that.
That sounds great. That sounds right up my alley.
Mhm.
I mean, I love good music, and
Yeah.
I love standards. I grew up on standards, and I love it, and I love singing them. Um, but uh, the groove thing, and
Mhm.
groove, and I'm a big guitar person, so guitar, especially with the groove, when the guitar has effects used
Yeah,
well, it's a real turn
yeah,
on.
used well is
Yeah.
important.
And the
Yeah.
drums, I have to have a drummer who's eclectic. I don't want the drummer going tick 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 tick. I can't do
Hmm.
that, it drives me
Yeah, a specialized drummer is a
crazy.
if you're not playing highly specialized music, then a specialized drummer can really mess up the vibe.
Yeah, and I really love space. Actually, last night that really stood out. The space in both these groups. Um, One group was the sax player who had this kind of whole setup of electronics, and not he didn't actually play the horn that much. He was more using the electronics, and then the other guy was a guitar player,
Hmm.
who um, so it was just the two of them.
Oh,
And then the second group was a percussionist who's very good, and he has a lot of he's really good, and he plays a lot of different cymbal work. And the other guy, guitar player, and the third person actually is from Japan, um, and she. Uh, I was telling you about this crazy percussionist who would have liked that song title, and
oh yeah.
yeah, Brad Dukes, and that he used to be married to this woman, Kaoru Mansour, and she's a really good artist. I've
Hmm.
used several of her pieces for my album covers, and she does looping and singing, and she'll improvise in Japanese, and
Hmm.
it's really lovely to hear the Japanese language with kind of talking and singing and
Yeah.
in a free way. So the three of them, and they're really, but the space was really present and beautiful. Space. It's great, right?
Yeah, you don't have to fill every moment.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm always yelling at myself about that when I'm playing.
Space.
That's the constant struggle. And it's because space is not necessarily just not doing anything. It's like giving, like when we talk, we don't just go to the next sentence right away, right? There's a gap between words.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to necessarily be like, hey, don't play for 4 bars.
right.
It's just let the ideas breathe.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess
Yes.
it's good that I notice it. The next step is to do it, right?
Well, yeah, I think part of that is um, just being able to be present, right? I mean, fully present and not have
Yeah.
to rush and not have to, not think. You think, but be present. And if you're present, and you're an actively playing, you know, um, you do timing is just part of that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Then if you're present, if you're really hearing what's happening, then you know when you've stated something or when something has been stated that deserves a moment,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear Shirley Horn?
I have heard Shirley Horn. I haven't like checked Shirley Horn out a great deal.
So she's the queen
Hmm.
of singing
Okay.
and playing. She's a great piano player. But one time I was I people have heard me say this on this show because this is just a good memory that I have. I was sitting in my living room listening to music all alone,
Hmm.
and I put her on. She was singing a song called "In the Dark,"
Mm.
and it's like a very slow bluesy song. So she says, "In the dark." In the dark. So she's queen
Oh,
of spaces like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
While that was happening, I started blushing all alone listening to that because I started imagining what was happening in the dark.
Like you see
You
me.
know,
Oh, Jesus.
it's incredible. So, yeah, the power of space is, yeah, really, really incredible. I like
I'm
Carmen
looking that up
McRae too.
now. Shirley Horn in the dark.
Yeah. And Carmen McRae is a really great person for phrasing and space as well. She's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of the other queen as far as I'm concerned, you know.
Oh, I have found it. I have found this on Loving You.
You mean, is that a record?
Is that the album?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Nice. Yeah, Carmen McRae. I can't remember. I read a great interview with Carmen McRae. I think it was in that Art Taylor in Notes and Tones,
Okay.
and it was yeah. She's cool. I need to check both of those out more. But there's a great album of hers that I really like, which is her solo piano. It's her piano and vocal live at Doug.
Ah,
And the story of why it's solo is funny. Apparently, she just like got in a fight with the pianist she'd hired.
and kicked him off.
Yeah, she's like, well, if you're not going to do it how I want you to, then I'll do it myself.
You know,
You go home.
I saw her do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was at this old club, jazz club in LA, and I was in my early 20s, and I went into the club. Okay, here's a good example for you. This should make you feel a little better. Carmen McRae,
Hmm.
there was hardly anyone in the club.
Really?
Yeah, except me. Anyway, so the band was playing. It was a trio, and she kicked the piano player off the bench and sat down and played. She
She's
didn't
like,
like
I
what he
got
was
this.
playing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was kind of blown away. I was like,
Hmm.
I was young, and I was like, wow, you know.
And if you play piano like Carmen McRae, like that's got to be a tough temptation at any moment, right?
Yeah.
How often is the really going to be playing something better than what you can do?
Well, I guess, and you know, I mean, we like who we like, you know, and we
Hmm.
have different relationships with the different players, you know.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
five piano players, and we like them all, right?
Hmm.
We have different relationships with them, you know.
Yeah.
I really love duos because you can really get into the relationships, you know, of the players. So I've worked a lot with duos, and I've recorded probably, I don't know, at least four of my albums with duos. Really nice. Actually, there's one of me and Phil. It's a double album live in Japan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and
Oh, I'll
yeah, it was
check that
around
out.
Christmas time, I think. And yeah, so yeah, well, we have a few records together. Uh, yeah, we have three records. One was a duo after we had been on the road for a month, so that was good. We had these crazy arrangements that you have
Nice.
standards, you know, yeah, that we were doing.
Wow.
The manager was always like coming over and saying, can you just play a standard? And and Phil would say, we are playing a standard, but
Yeah,
Phil,
aren't you
he didn't
aren't you
want to.
listening?
Yeah, he didn't want to like just play the same old, standard style.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, it was fun. Um, I want to hear another song.
Okay.
So let's see, your band in Canada or a standard straight ahead band? What do you think?
Uh, well, let's do that band in Can. Oh, let me look at this email again. Because the standard straight ahead band, I'm gonna do a quick hunt through. Yeah, let's do the standard straight ahead band. Because we're talking about standards. I think the first tune on that is good.
Okay.
This place is crazy. This is the Blue Note Nara, which has existed before Blue Note.
Oh,
And so they just get to use the name. But that logo is like, it looks like a metal band, right? Oh, here we go.
crazy. Yeah, absolutely crazy.
Mhm.
Is that the pianist that I was thinking of, or somebody
Maybe
else?
Fujikawa Sachie?
Oh, no, I was thinking of the one you used at Prost.
No, that was Maki Chieko. Yeah.
And the bass player, is the bass player the same?
No,
Or
this
different
is
for
this
girl
is
as well?
Sakai Miho.
Oh, okay.
She's really awesome too. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh.
you've probably met this drummer, Nakamura.
I know, he doesn't look familiar.
Great rhythm section, eh?
The drummers, yeah, really cool. Love it.
Yeah, Nakamura Yujiro. He went to Berkeley and came back to Osaka about 10 years ago or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. maybe I'm wrong about the timeline, but
Yeah. Yeah, he's really nice. Got a great feel.
Fujikawa-san's with me. The piano player's with me.
Yeah.
Yes, you were talking about duo. I play with this piano player duo a lot.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, she's just a real troublemaker. She doesn't play like a monk, but she has like those monkish instincts
Yeah.
of like, she really loves to like drop a bomb. She's like, okay, no, we're too predictable right now. I really appreciate a pianist that has a good sense of chaos.
Yeah. Wow. Smoking. That
ありがとうございま
was
した。
smoking.
シロ。
That was great.
Yeah, these guys are great.
Yeah, that was fun. Sax player is really good.
Yeah. Tomura Kuniaki.
Yeah, really good. And the drummer, I really love the drummer. Everybody's good, but
Hmm. Yeah,
it's,
Nakamura-san. So that piano, that rhythm section especially, they play at sub a lot, all three of them. Not
okay.
necessarily together, but
Yeah.
they're all pretty regular out there.
Yeah, when I saw Sato,
Satoshi.
Satoshi, thank you. There was a young woman drummer, very good,
Maybe Hayakawa-san?
maybe.
Sayo.
And the bass player was excellent because I worked with two bass players with Satoshi, and this was not the same bass player, but he was good. And then, of course, the owner was playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. So, so what do you do with your days, ma'am?
What do I
do
do?
you do you do other work? Do you teach or?
I teach a little bit. So it's been different. So my first year here, I was really trying not to fall into the like English teacher trap.
Yeah, yeah,
So I just didn't work. I spent all my savings and I was practicing and going to shows, and I went to about 100 shows or maybe more, at least 100 in half a year, and was just trying to figure out who the players were, and also like learning how to MC on a gig. That was the biggest thing. Like my Japanese is not good, but I can MC my gig because
yeah,
I know how to introduce the band. I know how to say the next song is. I know how to, right? And that was a very big priority for me to get when I got here.
yeah.
And then I ran out of money, so I had to start teaching. So I got an English teaching gig at a university, teaching just the bullshit first year English class that everybody has to take,
Yeah.
which is fine. It's fine work. So I do that. I was doing it like 5 days a week, and then every semester I've been quitting a little bit by a little bit. So now I'm down to 2 days a week, 2 classes each day. So I teach at the university about 8 hours a week, and then I teach English at a cafe nearby me once a week. And then other than that, it's all music. It's all, if I don't have a gig, I wake up and I maybe play a little piano and sleep in till the evening. The thing about the gigs here is it's highly regimented at the jazz clubs. Maybe you noticed that. It's like it's really the same schedule
Yeah.
at every jazz club across the country. It's like show up at 5, rehearse for an hour, and then doors are at 7 and the gig starts at 7:30.
And then it stops early because of transportation, mostly,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, the music's over by 10 and
Yeah.
everybody's out of the club by 11.
Yeah.
It's remarkably consistent. So yeah, that's one thing I always I back in Toronto, I feel like I was doing more like random gigs, like weird situations.
Yeah.
Like people were very creative with how to use music.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know how it is in LA, but it was like that a lot. I felt like, especially with horn players, right? It's like, oh, we need this brass band because I like be in the park at 10 a.m. We'll be there. Or like, I got hired by a biking advocacy group because they were trying to make a viral video about running red lights. So I was hired and to like hide behind a pole with my trombone. And every time a cyclist ran the red light, I would pop out and go womp 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 womp. Right? And I was like, that's a gig. That's right. But and here I am like playing show up to the club at 5 p.m. Doors at 7, right? It's just not quite like that. No.
It's funny, a friend of mine who I haven't talked to in the longest time. I have to write his name down so I'll remember to call. Mike Price. He is a trumpet player.
Mhm.
He lived in LA for a long time. Then he went to Japan for a long time. He was married and then divorced. And anyway, how I how I knew he was in Japan still was I was waiting for my time to leave out of a hotel. I was in Kobe and I was
Mhm.
watching TV and he came on a game show.
What?
Yeah. And his Japanese was really good. So
That's
he
awesome.
was able to be that funny,
Yeah, yeah.
American guy on the game show. So yeah, and he would do weird gigs. He
Hmm.
would do I can't remember all the weird gigs, but like there was a gig in a mall, in the middle of a mall with a band, like
Yeah.
a Dixieland band or something, and
Hmm.
yeah. But this is in Kobe actually.
I feel like
Did
I'm
you
starting to get those weird ones. Like
you
I
can always
played at the airport
create?
last week.
You did the
It's just
airport?
yeah, just in the international arrivals. They
Yeah.
just they wanted a trio.
Wow.
I don't know. Sure.
I love that.
Yeah. It's nice of them.
Yeah,
But
very.
it's like that I feel like I'm just recently starting to get into that where I'm like, okay, like that this is like what being a musician is to me. Is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
music in all situations. It's like it's a way of life for me, and I'm trying to like create that for other people.
Right.
So I'm for me, it's not that weird to have music at the airport. Why wouldn't there be a band at the international arrivals? But in terms of like the gigs I'm playing, it sticks out in
Yeah.
my monthly calendar as like way different than what the rest of
Sure.
my work is. But back in Toronto, that wouldn't have been weird at all, right? Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
you played at the airport. That's a place that would have music, maybe.
I mean, let's see. Also in Japan, I've played in shopping malls.
Hmm.
Like they'll have actually like a place to play,
Oh, that's
in
nice.
the mall, and there's a piano, and Phil and I did several of those, I remember. Um, and in the Hiroshima area, we play at I mean that's a little unusual, but there's a, monk with a temple, and he puts on jazz there.
Oh, that's good. I've done
Yeah.
a recording at a temple. There's a there's a really, really great studio in southern Osaka called Hidden Place. That it's just I don't know, one of the head monks at this temple or something loves music, so he's like, in this spare building we have in the back, we're just going to build a really, really nice studio.
Wow,
Hmm.
it's pretty unusual.
Hmm.
Yeah, for any place, really. I mean, the thing to do really is to kind of sit down and think about, you know, just be creative, right? And think
Yeah.
about stuff and then follow up on it. I mean, the
Yeah.
following up is, takes the
Hmm.
work and stuff.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
that's something I'm trying to create more is so for example, this next semester, I've got a few weeks left of my current university teaching gig.
yeah,
And next semester I'm not going back because I was like, look, eventually if my goal is to be playing music full time, then I can't have the plan B because your plan B becomes your plan A.
yeah,
So if I have that option, if I'm signed up to teach, it's there's never going to be that desperation. There's never going to be that need to think creatively about how to present music, where to play music, what music to play.
yeah,
So so that's one thing I'm really looking forward to next fall is I'm only going to be teaching at that one cafe once a week, but that's all scheduled around music.
yeah,
It's like I was hired there because I played there once, and then the owner was like, "Hey, I do like a English class once a week for a couple hours." So it's like I can, if I say I have a gig, then I
yeah,
don't teach that day,
yeah,
which is not how the university is structured at all. That's like you will be here every Tuesday morning
right.
at 9 a.m. There's no like, oh, I got called for rehearsal. I can't come today, right?
Yeah, doesn't generally happen.
That's not gonna fly.
So, yeah, and I suspect you write, like you have a lot of writing time, right?
Yeah, I do. I don't do as much writing as I should with that time, but I do have writing time, and I try to. I'm a bit of a voice note menace. I I just always have my. I try to like write something every day,
Yeah,
and I don't necessarily do it, but I try to do it.
yeah,
So basically, every time I'll sit down at the piano for the day, one of the first things I'll do is just improvise.
yeah,
And I'm not like improvising just to play. I'm improvising. I'm trying to find something, some
yeah,
chord progression, some melody.
yeah, yeah,
And a lot of the time, I'll just stop it there where I'm like, okay, I found something functional, something usable,
yeah,
and then I'll record it quick. And then I'll often just let it sit so that I'll gradually, I have that routine of like composing in bits and pieces where I'm
yeah,
not sitting down to compose. I'm not sitting down to write for the next hour or two.
yeah,
I'm just taking my 15 minutes. I've got 15 minutes to play piano. I'm going to get something out of it. So I'll sit down at the piano, I'll write something. And then when I have a day to write, or when I've told the band I'm going to bring a new tune, and it's the week before the gig and I still haven't written the tune, then I have all my voice memos and I dig through them and I'm like, okay, what was usable here? Oh, that's usable. Okay. Mhm.
yeah. Writing is interesting. I've written a bunch of songs, and I've gone through kind of different genres in writing, and recently, like in the last year, I've been trying to come up with, you know, some stuff. And I was frustrated for a while because I was coming up with very simple, like there would be some kind of a repetitive bass line that was happening, and then I would be, doing something over it. But that was all. It wasn't like
Mhm.
moving ahead. And then I went and heard a friend of mine. He had this kind of project of suite.
Mhm.
I realized that, hey, all these things, they're kind of similar in
Mhm.
certain ways, and I could actually make a suite of them. So then I just kind of allowed myself to continue writing them, and because I don't want to stop the creative flow either. And
Yeah.
but at some point, I want to sit down and really, really put them together like a suite.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of intrigued by that.
Yeah.
So, and then I don't know. So my writing, I feel, has gotten more simple, which is interesting because I guess my more complicated stuff. Actually, I would start with a line. I would not start with my piano playing because my piano playing is, you
Mm.
know, eh,
Yeah, I'm
So
kind of the same. I can do chords or I can do lines. I can't do both.
yeah, yeah. And lines, I can hear stuff,
Mhm.
because I've been listening forever, and so yeah. So writing is it's pretty
Mhm.
interesting.
I've
Yeah.
actually had a very similar experience to what you just described pretty recently,
Oh,
where like I it's a repetitive bass rhythm that I couldn't get away from. It's just this dun 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 dun, and it happened a few times over a few years where I was like, I'd finished a tune and I like looked at it in its entirety and I'm like, oh fuck, there's that rhythm again. Fuck, I just wrote like the third sequel to that tune that I wrote 7 years ago. So eventually, like, I just gave up and was like, okay, nope, it's a suite. So I've been playing it on my originals gigs, all three
uh,
back to back.
really?
Yeah, I've got this one tune that I wrote
Cool.
before, like, actually, so usually I'm a very, very slow writer,
Yeah,
but the first time I bought a plane ticket to go to Japan,
yeah,
I I was in a long distance relationship at the time, and I hadn't seen my girlfriend, now wife, in like a year and a half, and it was like, okay, fuck, like, holy shit, I'm actually going to Japan. I've never spent that much of my own money on something other than a trombone before. I haven't like
yeah.
my heart's racing, and I'm like, I don't know how to process this. So I sat down at the piano and just improvised. And it was the first time in my life, like just a whole song came out, right? And
Yeah.
it all started on that, dun 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 dun,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And then when I moved to Japan, there was a there's a venue nearby me that in the daytime they would let me use their piano and practice there. And I was like just getting used to living in Japan and kind of processing the whole thing, starting to build my roots.
Yeah.
And I finished writing this tune and I was like, oh fuck. Oh no, the bass line is the same. Boom, 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 boom. It's faster, but it's the same rhythm. It's up a semitone. And then I finished another tune recently where I was working on this cycle and it was just this harmonic cycle. So I was thinking of it as whole notes and I was like, oh, it should have a rhythm. And I'm just started improvising some rhythm and it's like dun 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 dun. I was like, fuck, there it is again. So all the tunes are spread out by 3 or 4 years, but they're all basically the same
That's so funny, huh?
material. I just couldn't escape it.
Yeah. Well, it had to kind of emerge. You know. I mean, there's all kinds of allowing that we can do when we do that and get creative. I mean, some of some of my most fun songs are the simplest harmonically,
Mhm.
and then it's how the musicians play it, and I had one record in more recent years called Dreamsville with a great piano player and a great guitar player, and the three of us have a unique musical relationship.
Mhm.
It's I mean, we're all jazz players, but we can do genres, individually. And so it came together like kind of gathering these other genres within this kind of
Yeah.
acoustic jazz setting. And so I had a few songs that I had written kind of in a series that were very folky,
Mm.
you know.
Cool.
And but what they did with them was so beautiful. It was really
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Building
Um,
that chemistry with musicians is really special, eh? Like
yeah,
that's
it's great.
that's one thing. Like moving away from Toronto and moving here, that was one thing that was really hard to let go of. Was you have all these musicians you've been playing with for a long time, and when I go back home, I still play with them. But right, it's all my musical relationships are set back to zero, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So of course it's really fun to start new musical relationships, but it's having that where you can bring a tune and you're like, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I trust you guys so much
yeah,
and I know what types of things you'll bring. So I right,
yeah,
you can, if you have that trio, right, you don't know what they're going to do, but you can know what's going to work with them, right? So
yeah,
it's really easy to imagine
yeah, yeah,
and think of. It's really easy to be creative in an environment like that, right?
yeah. We in this project we had picked really interesting songs. We picked. Do you know Pensativa?
Yeah.
So I wanted to do that in three. So we did that in three. We kind of stretched out certain parts. We did an original of mine. We did Lonely Woman by Horace Silver. We did Dreamsville. We did, anyway, we did, so we thought, hey, we don't even have a straight ahead song on this. So
Mhm.
I don't know, let's pick September in the Rain.
Yeah.
And so we tried to do it straight ahead and it was like, no.
This just doesn't work with the set.
Yeah, it didn't go together with the project. So we ended
Yeah.
up with this really, I'll have to send it to you. It's really
Hmm.
unique, it's
Yeah.
beautiful and it's definitely part of the whole set, and
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I mean that's pretty much my favorite thing is creating this, creating with musicians. Every time for whatever reason, I think I'm going to stop singing, and then I think about singing with, my friends, and I just like,
Hmm.
I'm never going to do stop,
Yeah.
no
Stopping.
matter.
I don't.
if I didn't sound like if I sounded shitty, I would still, if they let me sing with them, I would,
Yeah, I don't know about stopping sounds crazy. That's like that's that's for somebody else.
Yeah. Well, for a while, my voice was acting really weird, and it's still kind of coming back from that. But for a long time, I have this chronic cough, and so
Mm,
it affected my voice and my breathing and my voice production. And there were a few years that I was just, I was not, I was still working, but I was not happy with
mm.
what was coming out. I was really unhappy. And
Oh
so
yeah, I
I
feel that. I feel that.
considered stopping it, but I
Hmm.
didn't. And yeah, and so now I'm a lot better, but I'm still not. I mean, will I ever be like some of the singers that I hold in high esteem? Maybe not, you know. Maybe I won't be that brilliant singer that everybody knows and talks about, but it's okay. I know what I can do, and I know what I love. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, so I think that's enough, actually, you know?
Yeah, I wonder about that with the trombone because it's like it's a very physical instrument, right?
Yeah,
Like for me, I'm not that tall, so I just know that there are things I'll never be able to do, right?
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
There are if I was 3 inches taller, I could play seventh position comfortably, which would change the physical realities of the instrument. If I had bigger lungs, I could like all my heroes are just physically larger people than me.
yeah. That's so funny.
And it's like you can say like, "Oh, I've got 40 years left to practice to get better." But just deal like considering the physicality of the instrument, I know that eventually I'm gonna have to look at myself and be like, okay, this is what I have available to me, and let's maintain it. Let's take care of the instrument. Yeah, so I'm definitely starting to come to have that conversation with myself about like, okay, what do I want out of this instrument?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The physicality is yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It's interesting. I'm still very much learning, and I mean, it's great to have a steady gig. I have a steady gig now, and that's, you know, worth its weight in gold, you know, and
Yeah.
because I can stretch and I can challenge myself and I can, you know, all kinds of stuff. It's really good.
Yeah,
Um,
that's one thing I'm nervous about giving up the university teaching is when I had that, like I was talking about earlier, when like when your rent is not being paid by music, you can play whatever music you want. You don't have to worry about anything other than what music do you want to play. But if you're relying on music for your income,
yeah,
then you right then suddenly you have to think a little bit more cal like calculatedly about it, right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, sure, this is the music I want to play, but what music do people want to hear?
yeah, yeah,
And that's a tough balance, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, it sounds like you're doing the right thing. You're playing everything. I
I'm
mean,
trying
you
to.
know, sometimes, you know, you'll
Hmm.
do the gig for money or, you know, and then other times you'll do the gig for art. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that's the way to go, to kind of embrace everything.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of people here, a lot of great players teach, uh,
Hmm.
you know, and
Yeah, that's
uh,
one thing I want to teach more. I want to teach more music because
yeah,
when I got here, I didn't have the language to do it, right?
yeah, yeah.
But I think I'm getting to the point where I can explain music in Japanese to somebody.
Yeah, and I mean, I teach in Japan. I'm not I'm not fluent in Japanese at all. Sometimes they will pay to have a translator, and sometimes it'll just be them and me, and you know, a little Google Translate, and
That's
I
true.
can see what they need, and they get it, you know.
Hmm.
But it's I think what would be advantageous uh, to like desirable for a Japanese student to
Hmm.
take lessons with you is that you're actually out there doing it. you know,
Yeah.
you're doing it and it's powerful what you're doing. I think that is advantageous.
Yeah, it's a good point. Have- hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's been 2 hours.
Oh, geez.
Goes
Oh,
by
yes, it
fast,
has.
doesn't it?
What a rush.
Yeah. So, Nick, it's really, really great to talk to you. Feel
Hmm.
very compatible as a human with you.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
was really fun.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you doing this, and it was nice to learn more about your whole thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely keep in touch. I definitely want to play together when I come back.
Yeah, please. Yeah,
Right.
let me know when you're coming back.
Yeah. Right now I'm usually coming in May. Last May we started actually too late looking for gigs because of all the what is it that's taken over the city?
Oh,
The
the expo.
Yeah.
The
So
expo,
I
yeah.
think we just waited too late. It was really, we got one gig in Kobe. I
Hmm.
forget, I don't know the name of that club, but it was really nice, nice club. Small, nice, really nice club. And I used the band from the Playboy Club band from
Oh,
Osaka.
nice.
So it was like our reunion.
Oh, that's
Um,
good.
and anyway, but yeah,
Yeah.
um,
They really do book far in advance here. I
yeah,
used to back in Canada, if I looked at my calendar and I had an empty month, I like knew stuff was gonna come up. Somebody's gonna call me and be like, "Are you free tomorrow?" Fuck, like the band
yeah,
canceled it. But
yeah,
the
yeah,
club just didn't book a band and they need a band. But
yeah,
here it's like if my like it's my August is pretty much set in stone.
yeah,
I'm not anticipating finding new gigs in August right now.
yeah.
Yeah. Even my September is starting to feel a little bit decided.
Yeah, I might start early. I might try and get a gig at the Pile Driver.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the people. They were so cool. And
Hmm.
I think that they would give me a gig. They liked me
Yeah, yeah. And they give you dinner.
oh.
Yeah, and she makes a real healthy meal. That place is awesome. I really recommend playing at the Pile Driver.
They were so cute, man.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
cute.
yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
Nick.
Well,
Well,
yeah. Thanks
listen,
so much.
I hope you can sleep well after this and
Oh, yeah. I think I might be awake. I gotta teach an English class in 3 hours.
oh. Okay.
I'll sleep after that.
Thank you, Nick.
I'll see you. Thanks so much. Take care.
All right, you too. Bye, guys.
Bye bye. Bye everyone.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to tell people in LA this week, Saturday, I'm at Jinkies down in Santa Monica from 10:30 to 2. So it's just really fun down there, and it's free music and good food close to the beach. Dori Amarillo and Joey De Leon. And then Sunday, I have Jazz Vespers just for an hour, 6 to 7 in Northridge. You can find it on my website, and it's with Otmar Ruiz, Edwin Livingston, and Lyndon Rochelle, three great players. So that's
Wonderful.
that's what I have to say.
Okay.
Did you want
Enjoy.
to tell anybody anything for
Um,
to look up?
yeah, if anybody's in Osaka, come to Proust. I play the fourth Sunday of every month into perpetuity.
Cool.
I'll be there. And if I'm not there, they always have great young band leaders, great musicians.
It's a cool club.
Yeah, I think or go there or sub. Highly recommend it.
Okay.
See you
All
guys in
right,
Japan.
Nick.
Take it
Bye.
easy.
Matane.
Matane.